Why do human rights matter? Well, I asked you the question, why would human rights not matter? And I don't actually really want to add anything more to that, because why would they not matter? They have to matter, because it's society and human. So you could say to me, why is human rights essential to social work? Because it gives us our framework of philosophy, and that's reflected in our values, our ethics, our code of practice, our code of conduct.
Social work experience of human rights is very much from the ground up. It's very much around supporting and facilitating families, communities and individuals to be the advocates for their own rights. And social work has actually been around a lot longer than the International Declaration of Human Rights. Social workers have been advocating for the rights of children, for older people, for people in prisons, for marginalised people, for people that suffer oppression and poverty and racism since the very beginning of the profession. And the founders of the modern profession, dating back to the middle of the 1800s, founded the profession very much as activists and champions and advocates for the rights of others and for equality.
It's through the relationships, and it's through relationships with their clients, and the broader sense of what a client means. If you look at architects and lawyers, they're quite specific in how they see human rights and will quite focus on that, whereas for social work we have the responsibility of a much broader macro level.
And so social workers have a contribution as facilitators in communities of human rights, and that means bridging communities in conflict, communities in tension, to recognise each other's rights, to be able to support each other's rights. And so this is far from a legal process. This is a much more grounded reality of thinking about human rights. So the Aotearoa New Zealand Association of Social Workers has played a vital role by bringing information forward from the experience of New Zealand. One of those pieces of information was the work of Po Aotearoa in the late 1980s, which championed the social rights of Māori and Indigenous people to be able to determine their own futures. Now this had a huge impact in New Zealand on social work practice and gave birth to whānau decision-making, family group conferencing. And through these contributions, this methodology and idea has changed the consciousness of social work internationally. So it can never be underestimated how important the work of the Aotearoa New Zealand Association of Social Workers, and now with the Tangata Whenua Association of Social Workers, how important those contributions have been internationally.
In terms of human rights, I think New Zealand has come a very long way, but what happens is when you journey along human rights, you start to uncover more and more issues.
There's many challenges for social workers that are advocating for rights in countries that suppress rights. Well, Mr. Amira is one of the social workers in many countries that have been imprisoned. Some social workers are tortured, some social workers have been killed for being advocates of non-violent advocacy for their rights and for the rights of children, for the rights of other parts of the population who are systematically oppressed by institutions.